just one of those evenings, ladies and gentlemen. I am your good sir, Madison Jay. I've got my squire with me, LD. This is something special, something spectacular and epic.
Just of a meeting with Vegan right out in Japan. Converted the yen and turn it right into bands. The money is filthy, you know that we don't give a damn. The money is filthy, you know that we don't give a damn. I'm trying to get rich, you probably just trying to adapt. Big homie flows when it comes down to the raps. Higher security team to carry the straps.
All right, man, we're here with Madison Jay out of Raleigh. You out of Raleigh, right?
County.
That's
Yep, out of Raleigh.
Now, I was looking through here, and I know you had a county EP, and looking through your band camp here, and so tell us a little bit about this county. What's that about?
Yeah, so I mean, basically with the whole county movement, that's based on North Carolina with the 100 counties, and it's just basically representing the underdog. You know what I mean? Because the county, like I always equate counties as a sense of family, because when like, you know, down here in North Carolina, man, you know, when you say that you from like a certain county, you know, people be like, yo, I'm from Johnson County. You know what I mean? Oh, yo, I'm from Rockingham County. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Like, they're taking that as a sense of pride. And that's what county represents, is like taking a sense of pride of where you come from, no matter if it's small or big or, you know, whatever the case may be. You're always repping your county, and you do it for your county. So, you know, that's the origins of just what county represents, man.
Okay, I like that, man. I like that. And just looking through, man, I really like your band camp, man, just because it's well organized, man. Like, you got everything laid out there. Like, if anybody went there, they find anything about you right there, man. Everything's, yeah. And just looking through here, man, and I've been listening to all these EPs you got on here. I see that you first started out, you know, everything was kind of related to wrestling.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
rap, the whole Raps Like Wrestling wave.
Yeah. And then you moved, it seems like you moved into doing a little something going back to the 90s with your Trapped in the 90s.
Yeah. Yep.
So what made you do the Trapped in the 90s?
Well, with Trapped in the 90s, it just, you know, I'm a, you know, I would consider myself like a 90s, you know what I mean? I was born in the 80s, but, you know, I would say most of my life, especially up until that time, you know, in the 90s, it was a major influence, and it's just something that, you know, I was really always just immersed in, was just that 90s, especially when it came to hip hop. So, you know, when it came time for a new project, I was like, yo, I just want to rhyme over all some, you know, some dope 90s beats, you know what I'm saying? Some that maybe people were familiar with, weren't familiar with, and some that they were definitely familiar with. And so I did 2 volumes of those, man, and they were like critically acclaimed, you know what I mean? And I'm very proud of the, you know, the blueprint that was laid out for those projects, because it was at a point of where I was kind of back on the scene in a sense. So it really definitely helped me boost my career back into the light of where I needed to be.
Yeah, I definitely like the throwback, because, man, like you said, man, I grew up in the 90s. You know, I was born in the 80s as well, and you know, the 90s was, you know, middle school, high school type deal, and a major influence. And for the kids that missed out on that, the younger kids who didn't get to see that, I think that's really cool that you threw back and done that, because your style, man, it kind of, to me, when I listen to you, man, at least this older work, it does remind me of the 90s. Like, you definitely have a flow that reminds me of old school hip hop.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I tell you, man, the album that I'm really impressed with, though, is The Return of the Gap. You know, that intro, man, like, you could tell you put your heart into that, man. So
definitely.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that intro, because I feel like I learned a lot about you just by listening to that one song, man.
Well, basically, mind you, you know, with Return of the Gap, so that album is just basically like, it's kind of, you know, it's the autobiography of Madison Jay. You know what I mean? The autobiography of, you know, who I am as a person, actually outside of just Madison Jay. And with the album, you know, I classify it as my debut album because, you know, mind you, with these projects, Trapped in the 90s and Raps Like Wrestling, they were more themes and there were mixtapes in the sense of there was not, it was a theme, but they were just more like, okay, it's not like novelty projects. You know what I mean? You're not actually getting me in sense of like, my artistry in terms of songs. Like, you're getting these dope concepts, which is showing my creativity, but as a whole cohesive body of work that's just music, that's music and not necessarily a thing. You never got that until Return of the Gap. So mine just the debut. I'm kind of giving people a slice of, myself as an artist who haven't heard me before. So with that being said, I wanted to kind of give a lot of layers of myself, and I felt with the intro, with the production, it was just perfect to do that on that type of, on that type of beat. And I'm just touching a little bit in my upbringing as a young person, and then up in, as a father, and just kind of giving you those real emotions, I mean, especially coming from my perspective, because I deal with a lot of reality within my music. I don't like to sugarcoat stuff and make it, not comparable for the listener. You know what I mean? I want them to have a sense of, hey, that kind of the everyday guy, like, I go through that right there. And so again, just going back to the intro, it was something that I really wanted to touch people with. And I have a visual as well that, goes with that. That's available on my YouTube channel that people can check out, because, I got my mom in there. I got my bros, so, you're really getting a slice of just, me again as a person.
And now that leads up to your new release that you just released, I believe, in July. Purple Fried Chicken.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now tell us, because see, going back and listening to all these other ones, like Purple Fried Chicken to me, it's like totally different. How'd you come up with the concept, and what was you trying to, get across with this new album?
So with Purple Fried Chicken, it was a collaborative project with producer LD Beats, who I had basically just kind of linked up with via session from another artist. We were recording some material. He was doing the engineering. We kind of sparked up a little, basically just a relationship there. We did a track for compilation of his, and then that kind of grew into, that strengthened our relationship there, showing, how I sounded on his production. It sounded very dope. And then from there, we just started, basically working on, an album. What's crazy is we did a radio interview one day at the same station. What's this project? What's it going to sound like? And I was just like, yo, it's going to sound like Purple Fried Chicken. And basically what that means is like, yo, it's something that you can't, it sounds so crazy. Like, when you hear Purple Fried Chicken, you're thinking like, yo, what's that taste like? You know what I mean? What is Purple Fried Chicken? How do you purple? Like, it just, gets your mind wondering. So, for an album, for music, for a body of work to be called Purple Fried Chicken, something that you're going to definitely want to lock into, because it just grabs your, it just tingles your senses thinking about what it could be. So, that's what the Purple Fried Chicken and Company. And I definitely wanted to stray away from my signature sound, do something completely different with LD. And, I just think we achieved that with good results, man, because, at the same time, I'm trying something different, but I'm still giving you Madison Jay, where it's just like, okay, it's not, I just did a complete 180, and I just sacrificed, my whole artistic integrity just to do something that's, I give up compromise. It's clearly Madison Jay still. It's just me, rocking over joints with different tempos and different flavors, just, expanding my artistic reach.
Yeah, I could see that, man, because like I think that's cool, because it really does offer a different just aspect and level. Right. It just shows that you're multidimensional, because definitely. It was, every time I see that Purple Fried Chicken, I have to admit it grabs my attention, man. I'm like, what is that? Just what I'm saying,
especially with everything that's going on with the chicken right now, man. Everything happens for a reason, and that just crazy right there. So LD, man, we've been riding that wave of this whole chicken, man. When chicken gets brought up, we make sure to go in that Purple Fried Chicken, man.
Yeah, you know what? That's perfect timing.
Perfect.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with that. Call it some Popeyes and get on, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and man, you really got a lot of good work, man, and I appreciate you coming on, man, because
Thank you so much.
yeah,
I really do appreciate you for having me, man.
yeah, you're man, like I think listening to your older work, man, from the Trapped in the '90s and definitely that Return of the Gap, man, like it really brought me back to the old school hip hop and your flow, man, and
Right.
I enjoy that. And I see that you on your YouTube you got a lot of stuff ciphers and just shows and stuff,
Yeah,
man. So
yeah.
so you're definitely out there doing your thing, man. As far as the shows that you've done around here, tell us about how that comes about.
So basically, just at the end of the day, my team, we go out and we just try to make it happen, man, on all fronts. And of course, especially for just being an artist, you know what I mean. Up and coming artist is very important in terms of getting your performance up and showcasing yourself, showcasing that skill set on the stage, and that's something that I feel I do at a high level. I've done, I've done festivals such as Hopscotch, headlined the NC State Fair. I performed at the Ritz, opening up for Raekwon and Ghostface.
Okay.
I performed at South by Southwest. I've done a little bit of everything, and at the same time, there's still so much more to grow and to obtain. So I'm always looking for that chance to showcase my skill set, because one thing for me, MCing, being able to control the crowd, move the crowd, that's one thing. Like at the end of the day, regardless of what type of wave you're on with music, if you're on a young wave, you're on the a old school, whatever wave, it's always boils down to how you rock the crowd at the end of the day. So, that's why it's so important for that stage, and to touch it and make sure you sharp on it. And I just always want to make sure that I'm razor sharp on the stage.
As far as the Purple Fried Chicken, because I know that is your newest thing. Just looking across the track list in the DAP song.
Right.
Yeah. So give us a little input about that.
So with Adapt, I really like the it was a part that LD had in it. I think it was like some strings or something. It just gave me a real it gave me an Oriental feel.
Mm-hmm.
So that just instantly right there set the tone for just coming out of Japan. And I wanted to give it like a different rhythm. So at the end of the day, I was just rocking with that rhythm on Adapt, man. And it's it's the single right now that's getting pushed on radio.
Okay.
That will push Fried Chicken. So definitely make sure the listeners, man, make sure y'all in tune with the Adapt. Request that and look for that on the Purple Fried Chicken project that is available right now.
Okay. That's cool to know, man. I didn't know it was being pushed on the radio. Now, do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
Man.
So you got anything coming up that we need to be paying attention to, on the lookout for, man?
Yeah. I got some coming up in the next couple of weeks, man. Definitely be on the lookout for that.
But we appreciate you being here, man, and I appreciate you
Hey,
taking
man,
the time.
I truly appreciate you having me, man. Definitely. And for the listeners, hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Keep supporting.
All right, man. You take care, man, and definitely anybody out there, we'll have links to the Purple Fried Chicken. Definitely check it out. It's worth your time and definitely something unique.
Definitely, y'all make sure you get your plate of that Purple Fried Chicken, available on all platforms right now. You already know. County.